This is a review of the Cycle Frontier. This game just launched in June, and it's pretty fun. It's like a knockoff from Escape from Tarkov, but there are a few problems too that I want to talk about. So, overall, the game's very fun. It's actually really, really fun. I didn't like Escape from Tarkov all that much. It's kind of fun, but it's too stressful for me. It's just kind of a pain feeling. In this game, it also has that, but there's so much else to do. Like, I can just sneak around and try to hunt monsters for their loot and things. Or, I don't know, playing as a rat, which is something I have way more fun doing in a game like this, is way more fun. And the combat's not bad. I mean, the combat feels pretty solid. It doesn't feel super jank or anything. So it's just overall a very solid experience. It just feels rewarding. It feels fun. And I honestly would recommend playing it because it's free to play. It is free to play, so you can try it. Except there are some big problems. Specifically, one really big problem on launch, which is game crashes. That's right, the game just crashes way too often. I have probably lost like 250,000 K coins or whatever they're called of loot and items from crashes. There's a place in Bright Sands called the Jungle Camp that I was like, I just wanted to go loot one time and get out alive. And I had to do that 5 times to get out because the other 4 times my game crashed. One time it was because one of the super monster guys spit at me and it crashed my game. Another time I walked by some of the birds that shoot up into the air to, alert people that someone just went by here, and I scared the birds, game crashed. I forget what the other 2 were, but game crashed on my way out every single time, each time losing 15 to 25 minutes of my time, and losing all the loot I found, other than what I put in my safe pockets, and losing the gear that I came in with. And because this game has no way to come back in on a crash, if you crash, you're done, and the crashes happen, I'd say on average right now for me, it's about 1 out of every 5 runs the game crashes, and that's only because in a sizable portion of the runs, I'll die early to another player. So if I never died to another player, and I killed every player every single time, and every single match lasted 15 to 20 minutes of me running around looting then leaving, I would say right now I'd be crashing 1 out of 3 games on average, if that was how long they lasted every single time. Which is not okay for a game that is full loot and you can't come back in. Like, it would still not be okay, but it would kind of be okay if when you crashed, you could restart the game and your character would just stand there, and then when you reconnect, you'd come back in and be able to move again. If that happened, then it would still not be okay, but I would be okay with it. So that's really the issue. If they ever fix that, then the game will be pretty good. I mean, not the greatest game ever made, but it's pretty darn good. And I'm not the only one having these problems. The reviews on Steam are mixed, and if you scroll through the reviews on Steam, it's the same thing I'm saying. Literally every negative review is the game's not ready, it just crashes, it crashes, it crashes, it crashes, it crashes, it crashes, it crashes. That's literally, it just crashes. That's like 90% of the negative reviews. And I think if I play around with the graphics settings, maybe I could find a way to make it crash less, but it still would suck. So like when I first started playing, it defaulted all my settings to epic quality on the video settings. And when I first came in, I wasn't crashing very much. And I thought, oh wow, I guess I'm just one of the lucky ones. But later, I had to turn the graphic settings down so I could record videos while playing. And ever since I did that, I crashed just as much as anyone else. And so I figure it's going to be system-based and settings-based, so some people won't crash very much, and the game's going to be pretty fun. Some people, they're literally going to crash every 10 minutes on average while in the game, and it's literally going to be unplayable. So if they ever sort out the crashes, game's actually really fun. The honest review is, it's a lot of fun. If you're at all into this type of game, it's fun, because the other elements that Tarkov does not really have, like mining resources, for example. Like, I could go in if I want to, go full PvE mode, and have my only goal be to not get caught, basically. Like a whole different dynamic. I mean, you can kind of do that on Tarkov, but this one takes it to a whole nother level because of actual resource gathering. So I can just go in and find some nickel and some Titan ore and all these things and try to sneak my way out. Or you can even play the game where you wait for the storm, and then after the storm passes, so many people are gone, you can more easily sneak out. And there's like a lot of fun stuff you can do to play almost PvE in the game. And because you can talk in the game, sometimes you might make friends. You're running around like a rat, someone else is being a rat, you bump into each other, and one of you freaks out and is like, oh, no, don't kill me. And the other person's like, no, I don't want to fight either. I'm just doing my own thing, which actually kind of happened to me. It was really funny. So, it's got a lot of potential. It's really fun. There is a downside, though. Outside of the crashes, outside of what's fun, there is an issue I see with the game, which is long-term, I don't see how I would keep playing. So, like, I don't know if they're planning to have wipes or not, but there's no market, so I can't sell my stuff to other players. Even if I get a ton of money, I don't really know what I would spend it on since I can't buy key cards and things from other players. So, and then eventually, if I play long enough, I'll fully upgrade my base, and I will get max faction rep with all 3 factions, which only really just unlocks like a few new guns and stuff. And then I just go in and collect money until I have like 99 trillion K coins. And a bunch of Aurum for my Aurum generator, and that's the game. That's it. So like that's like the issue I see, where it's a lot of fun. It's a ton of fun for like the first 30, 60, 100, maybe 200, maybe even 400 hours for some people. And then you're just like, well, I guess all that's left for me to do is just hot drop and kill people, and then just I don't care what happens because I have infinite money. Whatever, like. So that's kind of an issue, unless there's something I'm not seeing in the game that's going to unlock later that adds a new avenue. I don't know, but the game apparently is in some kind of beta, is what I was told. Even though I don't think they advertise it as that. Maybe they do. Oh, it just says version at the bottom left of the game. I just looked at it just now. It doesn't say beta version or anything, but assuming they add more stuff, which I hope they do, then it will be a solid experience the whole way through, not just the beginning. But think about that, though. It's a free-to-play game. As far as I'm aware, I don't see any pay-to-win. It looks like money is to buy cosmetics only. And considering the fact that your default character model is like full black armor, you can't really pay to win with cosmetics, because like in any kind of stealth game, the best color you can be is a dark color, so you blend in shadows. So any cosmetics is actually going to make you less successful in PvP. So therefore, I feel like there's actually literally zero element of pay to win, even in the furthest reaches of like, oh, you buy this cosmetic, then you're hard to see. Unless there's like a cosmetic that changes your hitbox. That's the only other one that's like sometimes kind of obnoxious, but it looks completely not pay to win. It's free to play. And if you're into this kind of game, you'll probably have fun for 20 to 100 hours, some people 200, and some people they'll be playing it for thousands of hours. But anyone who's even slightly into this kind of game, they'll probably have fun. You'll probably have fun for 50 hours, something like that, of gameplay, maybe 100, on a game that you literally don't pay money for. So pretty solid experience. I mean, I'd rate it pretty high. If I had to give it, like, okay, so here's kind of where I'm at. On a scale of 1 to 10, if there were no crashes at all, if the crashes were just not a thing, then right now, the current state that it's in, I would probably rate the game like an 8 maybe on the scale. Like, thinking an 8. I'm doing this backwards. I need to go this way, don't I? Yeah, there we go. 8 on the scale. If there were crashes, but you could reconnect after the crash, then instead of being an 8, I would probably rate it like a 7, maybe 6.5, probably 7, because the crashes are just so bad. But if you could reconnect, I'd say a 7. You know, take a point off, but at least as long as nobody finds you for like the 40 seconds that you crashed, okay. You know, whatever. Hopefully they'll fix it, right? But that's not how it is. And then if there were more late game things, if there was a market, if there was something else, skills to level, something, I don't know, then, and there were no crashes, then I would probably, instead of rating an 8, I'd probably actually rate it like a 9. Like, there's actually, it's a pretty solid game, really. Like, it's actually really fun. The monsters are a nice dynamic. I really like the element of the monsters being in there, because the way that they play, as opposed to scavs in Tarkov, if you're not familiar, scavs is just random humanoids that do or don't have aimbot, basically, just randomly. You just may randomly get shot in the head immediately by one, or maybe they'll miss, like, you don't know. As opposed to that, this is kind of fun, because it's like, it kind of creates landmines in areas where you can actually get rewarded for stealthily not aggroing the monsters, which they only aggro if they're facing you, and then you actually get caught in their vision. And if you see the monster turn its head, then it'll actually be looking that way, and it will or won't see. So like, it adds this element of playing like Dishonored or something, some stealth game, and actually get rewarded for that, because then you aren't going to get detected by other players. You will sneak through to an area, have more success. And also, if you want to take out your knife and knife down some of the weaker monsters on your way through, as opposed to shooting them, just being tactical about how you proceed in those situations, it adds this really awesome element to the game. But also, it doesn't crowd the PvP very much. It's not like DayZ, where in DayZ, you shoot your gun and you just get swarmed by zombies, and it affects your gunfights with other players, where in this game, the monsters don't seem to care that much about sound. So unless you're literally right next to one and you start shooting, if he's just way off in the distance, it's not going to care. So you get to have your firefight with some other person, your 1v1, and not have some random little orange bipedal monster try to eat your face off in the middle of it and get you killed. So they did a really good job of balancing the whole thing. The looting's fun. Going different places has different loot rarities and stuff, so you get rewarded. And there's even things with like taking these energy canisters and like putting them into these different slots that cables take to a room, and unlocking secret rooms that have extra loot, and there's key cards. Like, it's fun. It's really, really fun to drop, see where you dropped. All right, I'm near the woodcutting camp, so I guess I'll head over this way and go somewhere else. Or like, it kind of put me near comms tower. I'm going to go up to the jungle camp then and sneak through the jungle. Feel like I'm playing Jurassic Park, trying not to get eaten by a velociraptor is what it feels like. There's a lot to it. It's really fun. So because it's free to play, I do and don't recommend the game. Here's the situation. So if bugs and crashes don't bother you very much, if you're someone who was able to enjoy a game like Cyberpunk 2077, for example, and you like PvP and this type of game, then I highly recommend the game. Eventually they'll fix the crashes, but even now, still pretty fun. If you're one of those people who bugs and crashes and weird issues like that make you feel furious and angry and pissed off, then don't play the game until they fix it, because it will piss you off. It'll be so bad. Literally just this morning, I went to the jungle camp. I had like 75,000 K coins worth of like ultra rare loot, and I was running down and I was getting close to my evac, and I spooked some birds and it crashed my game. And it was like, oh God, it was like getting punched in the gut, But for me, I have high tolerance to that type of issue. So it felt like hell, but I'll survive. But I think of someone like, I have a brother, for example, where instantly uninstall the game after an experience like that. So, it's up to you. You know how you feel about those types of issues. If those issues didn't exist, I'd recommend it for anyone who likes this type of game. Because those issues exist, it's really going to depend on, can you handle bugs and crashes, or can you not? That determines whether or not you should play this game. But definitely, it's free to play, so give it a shot if you feel up to it now that you know what's up with it. It's a fun game, no risk involved, not pay to win, fun time. You can play with your friends, although I think the friends list was bugged out and broken when I made this video. Hopefully they'll fix it soon if that is the case. But yeah, fun game, highly recommend. I give it about 7 out of 10 right now because of the crashes, but without the crashes, again, like 8 out of 10. And yeah, check it out, The Cycle Frontier. It officially launched or whatever a few days ago, and it is a very fun shooter, looter, whatever. I don't know what genre Escape from Tarkov is, but Escape from Tarkov knockoff game that I highly recommend playing.